Hi, this is Tiago Silva of the Portuguese Doom Death metal post-rock shoegaze band Ashes of Life, and you are listening to The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Tiago, thank you very much for taking time out for this interview, and it's a pleasure to have you at the Metal Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Ashes of Life is a Portuguese Doom Death metal band with progressive shoegaze and post-rock influences formed in Lisbon, Portugal.
Yes, exactly.
On February 7th, 2020 marks the release date of Seasons Within. It's a treat for fans of bands like Katatonia and Alcest, My Dying Bride, Swallow the Sun, and many more. I'm talking about Lisbon. Lisbon is Portugal's highly coastal capital city. From imposing São Jorge Castle, the view encompasses the old city pastel-colored buildings, Tagus Estuary, and Ponte 25 de Abril Suspension Bridge. Nearby, the National Azulejo Museum displays 5 centuries of decorative ceramic tiles. Just outside Lisbon is a string of Atlantic beaches, from Caxias to Estoril. Tiago, to start our interview tonight, how do you see the metal scene are doing in Lisbon and in Portugal in general?
Well, the metal scene nowadays is full with lots of opportunities. If you compare it to the 90s, for instance, there are plenty more bands releasing albums every year, lots of live gigs, mostly tribute bands, but also original bands that are having a certain impact in the international market. I can say some names, but you all know, for instance, Moonspell. Moonspell, it's the most well-known Portuguese metal band in the world, I think.
Tiago, you already had concrete ideas of what you wanted, along with determination that you wanted to be the one that composed your own music. How has you started your career as a musician, and especially for this type of music, the Doom Death post-rock shoegaze?
Well, I started it more than 10 years ago. I've been fortunate to work with lots of great musicians. I've learned something from them. They have learned something from me. In all the previous bands that I had, I couldn't mirror my ideas in the way that I wanted it. So a couple of years ago, all these kinds of short demos that I recorded in my, say, home studio, modest home studio. Then I figured out that my path was doing this, write songs along, working on songs by myself, and then trying to find some people that are interested in playing it, because I didn't find any bands that merged, at least in my point of view, successfully, the doom metal with the post-rock and shoegaze.
Tiago, don't you mind, for fans to get to know you much better, which are the bands that you played in before?
Actually, some bands that never got to be known, just an underground bands, nothing too fancy, but I played everything since I started to play music, the most general heavy metal, to even grunge music. I did both. I did like this kind of fusion band where we had everything from death metal to rock music to, I don't know, Mr. Bungle influences, all sorts of things, really.
Okay. This project, Ashes of Life, started around 2010, and some years later you recorded, as you just had, several demos until 2014, and decided to look for musicians who agreed to play your composition. Tiago, tell us who were the musicians you hired at the time to be part of your project. Is there a different lineup now? Yes, what's behind the name Ashes of Life? Is there something special to it?
Well, starting by the name Ashes of Life, you can interpret it in a positive and perhaps in a negative way, because you tend to relate the word ashes to something more fatalist, the ending of something, right? And then life is the complete opposite. So I wanted a name that merged the two ideas together. You can face it like the end of something or the rebirth. If you want to go all Phoenix and stuff like that, you can think of that way. Yeah. So your first question was the musicians behind me. The lineup these days isn't the same, unfortunately. I had the luck of working with a very talented drummer. It's called Jorge Teles, but unfortunately, when we started to record the album, he had to move to a different city. Nowadays, we aren't working with him anyway, but we are now looking for a new drummer because it is our our goal to take the Ashes of Life music to a live audience and to tour a little bit, of course. But then I have the luck to work with some of my friends, like the bass player Pedro Silva, longtime friend, along with Luís Pinto, also a neighbor of mine. It's very talented guitarist and also likes very much bands like Opeth. It was one of the things that made them easily connect to me. I play also guitar, bass on the recordings, and I sing a little clean vocals and a little bit harsh vocals. But my harsh vocals aren't yet fully developed. So last year, no, 2 years ago actually, I was in this festival, Under the Doom Festival, that takes place here in Lisbon, and I, from out of nowhere, just by coincidence or fate, I met vocalist Stefan Nordström, all the way from Sweden, and we had an instant connection, and now he's the main singer, does the most extreme vocals on Ashes of Life.
A very great singer, killer grounds. I love his voice, man.
Yeah, he's awesome. And when he sent me the early recordings of him singing my songs, I was just blown away. I'd done it so precisely, so very well executed. It was awesome.
Yeah, I have to check his other bands out.
Yeah, you should definitely check Soliloquium. It's his main Doom Death project. We'll have a new album coming up this March, I think. I think very, very good. And he also has a death metal band called Desolator. Very well, very good as well.
Okay, the band Ashes of Life played at the Experimental Festival back then, 2017, if I'm not wrong. What kind of festival was this, Tiago, and how was the band's presentation?
Well, it was a new festival. I was actually part of the organization as well as a live performer. And our idea was to have diversity, you know, not just my band with its doom gaze thing, but also other bands like more stoner or psychedelic bands, also experimental bands. We had like 3 or 4 projects. I hope we can redo it anytime soon, actually.
The band's Ashes of Life full-length album, Seasons Within, released last February 7, 2020, independently. Tiago, I want to highly congratulate you for this great new opus, this great new album. Your passion has come to birth last Friday. Yeah, a couple days ago. I want to highly congratulate you once again for this great masterpiece the band has put out.
Oh, thank you so much. It means a lot to hear those words. Thank you.
Tiago, don't you mind to present us the album tracking list?
Sure. Okay, the album starts with the song Shores. What can I say about Shores? Shores is a little bit about the Portuguese history. We are a nation that, as many of you may heard, we are this special bond and connection to the sea. We discovered a lot of zones of very places of the world, and in that process, a lot of our sailors died, lots of families didn't see them anymore, and so some people say in the present generations, in which I'm included, we always feel this kind of nostalgic feeling, call it saudade. It means missing something or someone, and sometimes without a proper explanation, okay? So this is kind of about that feeling, and that's Shores. It's been our first single on YouTube also. Go check it out. It has a full lyric video. I think you guys will like it. Moving on to the second song, Spiral Down, is a more personal song. It's about moving past bad events in your life and not being afraid of those past events haunting the present or the future. It's more like about that, and you can relate to it, I'm sure of it. The third song, Burn, is an instrumental track. It's actually about living your life to the fullest, I think, and as bursting with joy from out of your condition. It's kind of a post-rock, more post-metal song, I guess. That's the third song. And then the fourth song, it's Autumn Days. Autumn Days, it's a little bit more tragic. I wrote that song more than 10 years ago, I think, in its demo version. And it's about the end of a relationship and try to deal with it. And I associated that with autumn because on that event that happened to me, it happened in the month of October. So the fifth song, it's Try to Live. Try to Live has a funny story about it. It's also very personal. To do metal, sometimes you feel, these dark feelings and sometimes a bit of anxiety or even depression throughout your life. It's a little bit about the same thing as Spiral Down, but about moving on with your life, trying to leave something bad that has happened, because what happened before doesn't define you as you are right now. You can move past your failures and become better at anything you've messed up in the past. It's up to us to do the best, and that's Try to Live is all about. The last and final song, called Dying in the Snow, is somehow linked to losing someone you like, because that person is not in this world anymore. I can recite the last lyric on that song. It says that now intertwined with those we love, not just a fading memory. Perhaps me trying to believe that the people that I love that are no longer in this existence, that somehow from memory or for, I don't know, the beyond life, I maybe once again reconnected with them. And that's not the case. And then I'll always have their memory alive in my life. So Ashes of Life album Seasons Within is this conceptual album. It's linked to my personal story, also to things I see, to the Portuguese people. Sometimes I use metaphors in the lyrics to tell this story. You know, it's like entire life of one person since the person is born until the person dies.
Tiago, I'd like to thank you very much for describing the album track and list. And yes, I want to thank you as well for sending me the album MP3 file so that I could have listened to this great album. I cannot tell you which of the 6 songs is my favorite because I love them all, but I have to choose a favorite one. I love the track number 5, Try to Leave, so much.
Oh, awesome.
Seasons Within is a full-length debut from doom metal band Ashes of Life from Lisbon, Portugal. It was produced, mixed and mastered at Lemon Drops Media by André Eusebio and music written by you, Tiago Silva. Tiago, your debut album, Seasons Within, is finally finished and released independently. Tiago, your desire, your passion, and your hard-working long career is now finally being put alive. According to my notes, this was a difficult birth, which gave you a little bit of fight. But are you proud of the final result? How was the work gone with Andre Eusebio at Lemon Drops Media?
Well, I'm very proud of the final outcome of the album. To deal with Andre Eusebio was quite nice. Since day one, since the first approach, he was very interested in the project. He said straight away that the songs are this kind of ambient mood. He linked it to Burzum, to some of the most instrumental guitar work he did, and of course to doom metal. And overall, he was always very patient with me. It's not easy because I wouldn't say an art person to work with, because I don't think I'm not, but I'm very perfectionist, and sometimes I like to do it again and again and again, you know, until I get it right. So, like, I idealize it in my head, you know.
But one question, where is Lemon Drops Media located?
Okay, Lemon Drops Media is located in Montijo. Montijo is a town that is close to Lisbon, like 40 minutes from Lisbon if you go by car.
So you drove by?
Yeah, I drove by, yeah. Okay. Me and the bandmates several times, yeah. Just have to cross the bridge to the other side. Yeah.
Okay. Looking at the quality of music and the magnitude of the songwriting of this great new album, Seasons Within, Tiago, are you now in search of a record label?
We already had a release via record label. Actually, an old friend of mine called Andrea Consciência. It has a record label, independent record label called Abismo Man. To translate it to English, something like Human Abyss, which fits the Ashes of Life mood, actually. And you can go to the Bandcamp of Abismo Man as well as the Bandcamp of Ashes of Life and support us. We would thank you everyone very much that has been supportive to us.
So they're gonna be taking care and distributing the album?
Yeah, they will promote the album online and sell it online.
Even though the band is not signed, or at least has a binding contract.
It has a verbal contract.
I mean, with any record label, but still, I see the band have released some lyric videos on YouTube for tracks like Shores, that was on January 14, 2020, and Try to Leave on January 24, 2020. What can you tell us about these videos, and can we expect more videos to be released as yet?
That's a good question. Okay, about Shores video, I filmed it in the Portuguese shores at some places like Inferno's Mouth, I would say in Portugal, Boca do Inferno, and some beaches like Guincho. So it would have a real footage of Portuguese shores, right? And it was also edited by me. And then Try to Leave, the beginning and the ending of the footage was also done by me, and then I edited once again. And I'm thinking about doing a third video actually for the Dying in the Snow song. So this is an exclusive news.
Tiago, thank you very much for this exclusivity. Those videos we talk about, both lyric videos, the one that you are now trying to release, will this be a film video, or are you planning to release another lyric video?
Well, for the new video coming out, already started working on it. It will take perhaps a different kind of work than this previous lyric videos. I intended to be an animated video. Let's see how that turns out.
Yes. Okay, Ashes of Life, the band's full-length album Seasons Within, released last February 7, couple days ago, 2020, independently. Yes, commitment with this label we talk about. Tiago, in how many format is the album available, and how about the cover artwork? I love it. Who did it?
I did it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks once again. This is kind of a one-man show with the help of friends, of course, but I studied a bit of design and video editing, so as well as music, and this project is a way for me to demonstrate it.
Talk about the album and how many format is this available?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, the album is available in digital format. Is also available in the physical format. I will post it on Facebook when everything is ready, but you can expect a much more complex artwork in the physical copies, of course. And I think perhaps you will like it as well. I hope.
Since the album has just been released a couple days away, what will the band be doing in support of this great album? Are we able to see the band's live very soon?
That is also a good and yet complicated question. Like I said before, we don't have our whole drummer with us anymore, so unfortunately we'll have to wait a little longer to bring the Ashes of Live Music to a stage until we can find a new drummer. But I hope it will turn out good and quick.
But don't you like to use just a live drummer? It don't necessarily have to be a permanent member.
Yes, that's also true. I can ask someone to join, even if it's temporary. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. How can I say it? I always want to find people that can play the music, feel the music, but also can relate to us, be our friend. I think when all of those aspects are blended together, that's when a band really works well.
Okay, before we leave, Tiago, every time I talk with a band from the country they from, I like to talk about festivals, especially summer festivals. What festivals are really big in Portugal? I know there's a couple, but I can't remember the name right now. What festivals represents Portugal? I mean, big summer festivals, outdoor festivals.
I'm going to mention my favorite, perhaps not the biggest to the overall metal community in Portugal, but Under the Doom Festival by Notre Dame Productions is actually my favorite. It has been evolving throughout the years, and now it has reached an even bigger audience. It's very good. It happens in December, not the summer festival. But if you're looking to summer festivals, you have the VOA Festival. It's very good. And also Vagos. Vagos happens in the Vagos city near Aveiro. It's also very nice. And you have so many other festivals like Barroselas, like Amplifest. I'm trying to remember some other festivals because there are so many good festivals here in Portugal.
Yeah, I think Vagos is one that I hear so much about it.
Yeah, Vagos is actually, I think, the biggest one right now. There are actually two Vagos festivals from different organizations. They're both good. I know the people from Vagos and from VOA. They're both great, actually.
So in the nearby future, we will see the band performing at one of these festivals, right?
Well, if the festivals grant us that privilege, why not?
Yes, the album score is all about doom metal, yet the listener can also find elements of post-rock, progressive metal, progressive rock, and shoegaze, among other influences. And for fans of Katatonia, My Dying Bride, Alcest, Opeth, Swallow the Sun, yes, just to name a few.
Just to name a few, yeah.
Yeah. You guys out there must hurry, to buy this great album. I listened to it, and it's, even though it only has 6 songs on, it's very capture your heart. It really brings me in another dimension, I should say, when I listen to the music. I have myself carried away. Tiago, what a great job you guys have done on this album.
Thank you so much. That was actually my intention, when you listen to the Seasons Within album by Ashes of Life, to be carried away somewhere else, because overall when I do music, that's my intention, to get away from the bad things, honestly, and if that has happened to you too, I hope that as well happens to other people that listen to the album, to just be carried away someplace else, and that's it. That's what music is all about, to be carried away someplace else, to have a catharsis from your everyday situations, right?
Yeah, everyday struggle, let me put it that way.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And even in nowadays society, you have to always be rushing around, moving around, always give more than 100% at everything, so this is an album so people can, chill out and enjoy life and get reborn again to live a new day, a new struggle, and hopefully overcome it.
I know you're looking for, to complete the band lineup, but I hope, that will be very soon. And I hope, since we are going so much to different festivals in Europe, I'm looking forward to see you guys live anywhere in Europe. Even, I have to go to Portugal, it's no problem, but I hope to see you guys live, man. That's one of my desires, since I love this album so much. And I hope to hear another album in the near future from the band as well.
Okay, awesome. You are most welcome here in Portugal. Everyone is very welcome here in Portugal. We are a very cozy country. You can play in Portugal and in other countries. And I'm sure we'll find someone that has the technique and the heart to play in Ashes of Life. It's just a matter of finding that right person. And for future albums, I can say that I have plenty more of demos. It will take me some more time to take them to a more professional level. But me and Stefan Nordström, we are already dwelling on it. Yeah.
It's good to hear, man. It's good to hear. So we probably hear from you in a year or two, huh?
If you come to Portugal, we can have a beer or coffee or something, or tea.
Tiago, I want to thank you very much once again for having made this interview possible. And I want to hand you over the microphone of Madam Messiah Radio International for you to invite all your friends, all your fans to support the band, to buy the band's brand new debut masterpiece, Seasons Within. The microphone is all yours, Tiago.
Okay, thanks once again, Jacob. I would like to invite everyone that is an actual Ashes of Life fan to listen to Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International, and to support Ashes of Life anywhere you want, even if you have to come to Portugal. You can have a beer in Portugal. Okay? See you.
Tiago, I wish you all the best for this band, for this your project, Ashes of Life, and I wish you all the best with this new album, new release, Seasons Within. Please say hello to the other band members for me.
Okay.
One thing before I leave, please, how about merchandises? Do you already have merchandises for the band?
Well, I'm thinking about some t-shirts. I'm a fan of simple t-shirts, just black t-shirts with logo on it. I think it could be a good starting point, perhaps.
Okay, so now there's no merchandises, but there will be in the near future.
Exactly. It's one of our plans, but since this was an independent release, it's sometimes complicated doing all the physical copies as well as the other funny stuff like t-shirts. I don't know, I think people nowadays actually like more t-shirts than physical albums. At least when I go to a gig, I see people buying t-shirts more.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm right. Yeah.
More t-shirt, patches, any merchandise is more than buying albums.
Yeah, I think bands nowadays make more income by merchandise. Just a while ago, I was on Facebook and a fan was asking for it. I was asking for merchandise. Perhaps you'll have it soon available in the near future. If you go to Ashes of Life gig or even to our Bandcamp, it will be there. Just a matter of time, actually.
Okay, as I always say, metal on. Bye-bye.
Rock on and metal on. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Still remember that no man loses any other life than this which he now lives, nor lives any other than this which he now loses. For a man cannot lose either the past or the future, for what a man has not, how can anyone take this from him? For the present is the only thing of which a man can be deprived. All things from eternity are of like forms, and come round in a circle. The longest and shortest are thus brought to the same. For the present is the same to all, though that which perishes is not the same. And so that which is lost appears to be a mere moment. For a man cannot lose either the past or the future, for what a man has not, how can anyone take this from him? lose either the past or the future. For what a man has not, how can anyone take this from him? All things from eternity are of like forms, and come round in a circle.